Hey gang, it's Michael Kostroff. Um, I have the privilege of talking to lots of actors. I teach 4 acting classes a week. I coach people. I hear from some of you. I have a monthly meeting for people who've taken my audition site course. I have a lot of little interactions. I guest at different schools and all that. So um, I think I get a broad sense of things sometimes, and my sense is right now sucks. Am I speaking truth to you? Most actors I know say that they're in a desert um, there's no auditions coming in, no work coming in. Um, I have no auditions happening right now, just so you know. Um, and so I've been thinking, because I'm sort of a caretaker. I make these videos because I'm sort of a caretaker, and I think about our tribe, and I think about what can I say that's true but comforting, or true but helpful. And it- if it sucks, it sucks. That's the truth. We don't have to pretend everything's great and the way it's supposed to be. It's just it sucks. And also, I want to remind you, this profession, as I always have said, is a wonderful, terrible profession. And unemployment's the norm, and so forth and so on. But I'm going to introduce you to an exercise of mine that I have found very helpful over the years. And when I mention to you what it is, I want you to track what your inner reaction is in the moment when I tell you this. Okay? Back in the day, and my friends would laugh at me about this, but twice a year, I would quit the business. Now, if that made you go, that is part of what we're addressing here. From time to time, the way I put it is that we have found ourselves in a dysfunctional relationship with our career. We're doing all the giving, we're not getting back. It's a dysfunctional partnership. Our career is being abusive, neglectful. We're not getting the attention that we want. We're not getting our needs met. And we're doing everything we can for it. It is like being partnered with an abusive alcoholic or something, who promises to try harder and get better and doesn't and keeps beating you up. I'm sorry if that's too harsh an analogy, but I like an analogy, as you know. So what I used to do is a couple times a year, I mean, we say twice a year, but I would think, okay, it's not a good week for me as an actor. I am going to not be an actor this week mentally. Now, calm down. I'm not telling you to quit the business. I'm telling you to quit the business for a little bit. A week, 2 weeks. Don't call your agent, say I'm quitting the business. Don't take yourself off Actors Access or whatever. But what I'm suggesting to you, and if you take me up on this, here's what I want you to do. Start to think about what else you might do as a career change. Like, if you were to choose that, you know what, I'm done being abused by this business. I'm gonna look into something else and just start doing the research. What would it cost to go to culinary school? Or, could you, or seminary, or law school, or whatever? Could you become a personal assistant? I mean, I'm talking about a career change, so something that calls to you. I don't, which personal assistant wouldn't call to everybody, but some people would say that's what I really want to do. If I were to say, if there was no acting, if there was no acting left, what would you want to do? You want to be a fireman? You want to be a sports coach? You want to be a therapist? Some sort of customer service? There are lots of kinds of jobs out there. I know what mine would be, by the way. I would look into like being a reservations person, like some sort of phone job, because I do like people, like airline reservations or something. Like a centralized or hotel reservations, or maybe connecting people with help in some way. That's what I would look into. And I would do that as a career, or be a therapist or something else, So really look into that. And every time you're tempted to think about your career, go, I'm not an actor this week. I'm not an actor. I've stopped. I've quit. And part of it is, again, facing the thing that's so scary and going, okay, let's try that on and see what that feels like. And it reminds you that you're a whole person outside of being an actor. You're not dependent on a certain amount of employment to feel like a legitimate human being, By the way, volunteering also helps with this. That's not the subject today, but the very little bit of volunteering I've done has made me go, oh, okay, I'm a normal human being on the planet. But it reminds you that you're a whole person. It loosens the death grip that we sometimes have on our career, that we feel like I've got to be doing 25 things a day that, or I don't even do something every day for my career, I don't think. So letting go of that and going, okay, this is the new world. No acting. And it's therapeutic. It's therapeutic. And when you feel that you've chosen it again, as opposed to being stuck with it, stuck with an abusive partner, and you go, I'm going to sign on again for this. It's what I want to do. Then you go back to it. I haven't felt the need to do that in a long time. Knock wall. Because I've grown a lot more comfortable with unemployment. I've grown a lot more comfortable with the inconsistencies because I've just been doing it a long time. But you know what I'm saying. When you're miserable in your partnership with your career, let it go for a minute. Come back to it. That's this week's advice. By the way, I feel very strongly that I must add that some actors do really quit the business. And we're like a cult, because your fellow actors will go, you can't leave. You can't leave. They'll find you, or they'll never let you back. All this mythology, it's nonsense. You can't leave. And I have one friend that I'm thinking of, who amazing, talented, brilliant actor who was on Broadway, who was very successful in regional theater. When I say successful, she might have done a show a year or 2 shows a year. And she finally got tired of the insecurity, and she said, I'm out. And she went into internet ad sales, which sounds miserable. And after a few weeks, she went, Michael, I love it. I love finding out that I'm good at something besides acting. I feel so much more self-esteem that I can have this other expertise. And she's badass at it. She's been doing it for years. And just this last year, she went, what? I've earned enough vacation time. I can go audition for this show. And she did. So, and she's found other ways to keep music and art acting in her life. But the point is, you're also allowed to actually quit. They do not hunt you down, and nobody writes it in a book, and they don't kick you out of the club or anything. And yes, you can come back. So that's another sideline, not the point of this week's video. This week's video is quit the business, for a week or 2. All right. I will talk to you about other things next week that don't have to do with quitting. All right. See you then. Bye.